Another day, another story. Little boy brings home baby in Carrycot and he said, "Mommy, I found her alone in the park." But before we start, please make sure to subscribe our channel for more videos. A young boy brings a baby in a Carrycot home to his mother. Convinced, the baby's mother willingly left the newborn at the park for him to take home. Sierra sipped her evening tea by the kitchen window, staring out at the tiny park where her 9-year-old son Brian was playing. It had been 2 years since they had moved to that neighborhood, and Sierra would occasionally leave Brian alone in the park, which was viewable from the kitchen. While she worked on her chores in the kitchen, she would keep a watch on him simultaneously. "Ah!" she cried as the scalding tea burned her tongue. She'd become so engrossed in watching Brian that she'd forgotten her tea was boiling hot. She put it down to cool and rinsed her mouth. Then she was back at the window again to keep an eye on Brian. One day, she missed watching him for a few minutes, and Brian returned home, not alone, but with a baby in a Carrycot. Tea was a typical lazy Saturday, and Sierra was preparing Brian's favorite dinner. He loved chicken lasagna and garlic breadsticks. Usually, Sierra would order pizza for Saturday night, but they were sick of eating it every other weekend. "I hope Brian likes this," Sierra thought to herself as she popped the lasagna into the oven to bake. Then she took out the sourdough bread and began slicing. A homeless woman cannot give her child a good life. She deserves a loving home, and I know you can give her that. Out the kitchen window, she could see Brian playing. She loved seeing him happy. Growing up without a dad had been difficult for Brian. Though Sierra would try her best, she just couldn't make up for her husband's loss. Ouch! Sierra wounded her finger while slicing the bread, resulting in a severe cut. If there was something she had become a pro at recently, it was hurting herself while she watched Brain play. Sometimes, she burned her tongue, and now this. Sierra rushed to the bathroom and cleaned the wound. It burned as she applied the antiseptic, but she felt much better a couple of minutes after she wrapped it with a bandage. She returned to her spot at the window and looked out to check on Brian. Her heart began to pound when she noticed Brian wasn't at his usual spot. She scoured the park with her eyes, but there was no sign of him. Worried, Sierra dashed out to the living room, and it was there she saw him through the window, carrying something and walking toward the house. She sighed, relieved, but it wasn't long before her calm turned to panic once again. Brian returned home with a baby in a Carrycot. "Mommy, I found her in the park. Look, it's a baby," he cried proudly, entering the house as if he had done a great deed, and Sierra's heart dropped to the floor. "A baby? What is a baby doing with you, Brian? Where's her mom?" "She wanted me to take her home, Mommy," answered Brian, and Sierra was confused. "I saw a lady. She left the baby on the ground and waited for me to take her. She was watching me. I thought she wanted me to take her home, so I brought her here." "Oh honey," sighed Sierra. "That's not what you were supposed to do. You can't just bring home someone's baby." "But Mom, isn't she pretty? Can we please keep her, Mom? Please. Please." Brian started jumping so loudly that it woke the baby, and she began crying. "Oh, no, you're okay." Sierra scooped the baby in her arms and began to rock her. "We need to call the cops, honey. The baby needs to go home." "I don't think so, Mom," said Brian. "Here. This envelope dropped from the baby's blanket. I think her mom left us a letter. She wanted us to have the baby." To Sierra's surprise and shock, Brian was right. Inside the envelope was a letter from the baby's biological mother. "Dear Sierra, I am sorry I'm burdening you with something that should have been my responsibility. I know you'll be the best mother to my baby girl, and your son will be the best brother to her. I don't have money to feed her or a home for her. A homeless woman cannot give her child a good life. But my daughter deserves a loving home, and I know you can give her that. With tears in my eyes, I apologize to my baby girl. I am sorry, honey. I hope you forgive me someday. I couldn't be a good mother to you. But what I'm doing is for your own good, honey. You'll always be my baby girl. The girl I will always be proud of. She is gorgeous, Sierra, isn't she? Do me another favor. I would love it if you named her Rose." Sierra embraced the baby close to her heart as tears streamed down her cheeks. The baby was her best friend Amelia's daughter. Amelia and Sierra had been childhood friends, Then Sierra relocated to another town, and they lost touch. It broke Sierra's heart to think Amelia had given up on her daughter. She can't just give up like this. She has to be strong. Sierra called the cops, as well as CPS. She took in Rose temporarily while they searched for Amelia. She was ready to help Amelia get back on her feet and help her raise her child. However, month after month passed, and Sierra was only met with disappointment. Amelia was not found. The detectives subsequently called it a cold case due to the lack of development, and Sierra eventually adopted Rose. Now, Sierra sits at the park with Rose every day, watching Brian play, still hoping Amelia would show up one day. "I know you're stronger than that, Amelia," she said to herself. "You'll have to come back for Rose and me." Sierra can only hope that one day Amelia will truly return. Will she? Share this story with your friends. It might brighten their day and inspire them. Thanks for watching.